yesterday.
See, she brought it back with her.
So it was the day before, it was like 9 degrees. I was like, I'm glad I'm staying one more day.
Yes, it was.
You're on.
That's kind of. Oh, we're on? All right, let's call a meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, please call the roll.
All right. Mayor March? Trustee Marevka? Here. Trustee Sluse?
Here.
Trustee Jones?
Here.
Trustee Bowden? Trustee Sturba?
Here.
And Trustee Hudson?
Here.
Okay.
All right, public comments. Angie?
Yeah, okay. I don't have too much, I just kind of wanted to put a time frame on the water tower painting. I know we talked about that a couple times. So we'll be painting both the tower on Ratchie and Lincoln this year. So we're looking to start that in May, beginning to mid-May. So I'll keep you posted on that, but just wanted to update you that that is a go, so.
Will that just be one thing, or will it say Peatone, or some kind of phrase, or anything?
I think we had talked about, we can either do the Aqua logo, but I believe we talked about the Peatone logo,
Right.
correct?
Yeah, we want the Peatone.
On both of them, right?
Yeah.
Yep,
Oh, cool,
Good.
okay.
Do you need me to send that to you, or?
you did already.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, everybody's gonna ask, so what's the word on turning on the aqua
Yeah,
water?
I don't have updates on that, but yeah, as soon as I have any updates on that, I definitely will communicate those
Okay.
prior to anything else, yeah. Yeah.
All right,
All right.
Is there anything else?
thank you.
Nope.
Thank you, Angie.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? If not, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have the minutes from our last meeting, the payroll accounts payable, and a motion to approve updated descriptions for certain jobs. Any trustees want to take any of those items out of the consent agenda?
I just have a question about C
Okay?
for the public works manager one.
Mhm.
It says manager, but on the second page it says supervisor responsibility. I know like in our, salary levels, there's a manager and a supervisor section. I just don't think it's fair to give him a supervisor responsibility if we're not gonna compensate him for supervisor pay. Like most people, when you do a job, you wanna get compensated. I know like when I worked in factories and I did other jobs, I got paid that salary and stuff like that. I just don't think it's fair
Which
to.
bullet point are you referring to?
The public works manager one?
Right.
I know we've had this conversation before. I mean, every public works around here has a supervisor. We're the only one that doesn't.
Is it the back supervisory responsibilities?
Mm-hmm. I mean, if
So
you're doing
this-
supervisory responsibility,
This was his job description prior to the title change.
Mhm.
So those responsibilities were in that job description of manager at streets and alleys. No
Yeah.
supervisory responsibilities were added to his job description.
well, I know that, but I'm just saying I feel like if we're gonna expect them to do supervisor responsibilities, we should pay them to do the supervisor responsibilities.
Supervisory responsibilities were in his job description previously.
I understand that, but
So you're saying that you think that we should add a supervisor, as you're referring to it, to the department?
well, basically instead of having him as manager, have him as supervisor. Because if he's gonna do supervisor duty, the manager and supervisor, supervisors are over managers. So I mean, if he's a manager and he's doing supervisor duties, we should just make him a supervisor.
Is it the wording that
You could
we
change it to manager responsibilities.
Yeah, you could, but I mean, we're the only municipality around that doesn't have a supervisor. I mean, Mantino, Beecher, even Grant Park has a supervisor, and their population's like 1,000 people,
How
1,200
many
people.
people does Grant Park have in Public Works? One, I think, don't they?
Two.
Do they have two now?
Mm-hmm. The guy actually left from there and went to Beecher, supervisor there, but they even have a supervisor and they have two.
So, do we want to change the wording, say where it says supervises to manages?
I'd rather just label him as a supervisor. I mean, it's only fair to label him as a supervisor if he's doing all the duties that every other supervisor around the area is doing.
We don't have a job description for supervisor, so I'm not sure what their job descriptions say for supervisor compared to this one. You know, I can try to track it down
Yeah,
and look at it.
yeah, if we can look at local, because I know like, basically what he does is the same as the supervisor in Beecher does that I worked with. I know I talked to like other supervisors when I worked at Beecher all the time, and basically they all do the same thing as daily job, make sure the jobs get done, do with the public, any meetings, construction, like basically what he's doing now, but, you
So
know,
basically
not
you-
getting compensated for it, I
Basically,
guess.
you want him to have a raise.
A raise and a title. I mean, I left Beecher because I wasn't getting paid for all the stuff they wanted me to do. So, I mean, you should
Well,
pay
like I said,
somebody.
we're not asking him to do anything additional from his current
I know, but it's only,
duties that he's had for 20, well.
Yeah.
How long have you been a manager, Bob?
Since 14. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I never brought it up to him. It's been something I know I brought up to people, and I've never really, like, to me, it's just, I don't understand why we just can't do it.
Well, crew leader or manager do have supervisory responsibilities. I think a supervisor, to have a supervisor and managers is something totally different.
Yeah.
I mean,
But we don't know other public works as managers, so supervisor, foreman, and then that's about it. Usually, because it's foreman takes over at Beecher as a supervisor, a foreman, and assistant foreman, and I was the assistant foreman over there. So when the supervisor and the foreman was off, they could do the duties. Because other than that, I mean, to ask somebody to take over for doing a job for a week when both guys are off, you're not getting paid for it. We told them flat out, I'm not going to do it because I'm not getting compensated for it.
Okay, so, let's take this, job description for manager of public works, let's take it out of the consent agenda and put it into new business. Can we do that?
Sure can.
Okay. All right, so that leaves the job description update for the clerk, the billing clerk, updated to clerical support, and the payroll, which, payroll accounts payable, the payroll ending 3/5/22, $31,312.66. Accounts payable, the general fund, $36,249.42. The motor fuel tax fund, $30,648.65. The capital improvement fund, $13,985.58. And the business development district, $1,459.30 for a total of $82,378.90. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Moved by trustee Maravka, second by trustee Sturba.
All right, roll call vote. Trustee Maravka?
Yes.
Trustee Sturba?
Yes.
Trustee Hudson?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Sluse?
Yes.
All right, moving on to staff committee reports. Administrator?
since trustee Bowden's not here, we did have a AOC meeting on March 3rd. And I'll just report on that briefly. We reviewed the draft budget and gave the treasurer some minor input to update. We'll review salaries tonight in closed session, and then we'll have a final draft for the board to approve on March 28th. We reviewed a proposal by Tom Knuth for retainer services for the building department. And that was about it.
Okay. Engineering, Troy's not here, obviously. Just one thing to report. We did hear back from CN Railroad on our parking lot project, and they really, fortunately didn't have a whole lot of comments on it. So I think, that looks good for moving forward with that. I think we still have to get, we still have to coordinate with them. We might have to have a flagger or something while it's being done, but at least, like I said, they didn't have any problems with our design at all.
We had a public works committee on the 9th.
Right, yeah, so,
Oh, sorry.
no, that's okay. Yeah, so, Public Works Committee, Trustee Jones, you wanna give us a quick report on that?
Yeah. The first thing that we talked about, the security doors at the village hall, determined that not a need for that at this time. We talked about the village tree program. We've got 50 trees coming about the 10th or 11th of May. Thought it'd be a good idea to punch the holes in the ground, and so that way we're ready to go when they come. We can just drop them in, and we may solicit some help from some others, volunteers, to help with that. We got to procure another, I can't remember exactly, 50 or 60 of the watering bags, because we're going to water all the trees that were put in last year and then the new trees. We talked about the vacant lot. I suggested that we get some input, good ideas, and if people are out and around in other towns and see something that's been done in a similar manner, take some pictures, and we can incorporate some of that. Discuss the policy and procedure options for removing trash left on parkways. We talked about that at length. Ultimately, it rests on the landlord to do it, to pay for it if they have to be removed. Public Works shouldn't have to clean that stuff up. So I'd like to get the landlords to write it into their leases that the people are responsible for it, and they'll retain their security deposits if all of their stuff is not gone. That way there is money there. The difficult part will be to try to contact all the property owners, but we can work on that. And we discussed organizing a community cleanup day. Last Saturday in April, first Saturday in May as a backup if the weather's bad. And there again, solicit for volunteers, get the word out. That was about it.
Good. Thank you. Public Works, Bob, do you have anything other?
Dr. Mark, just a couple things. We're working on setting up a pre-con for the Wilmington Road sidewalk. We get that project moving this spring. Auburn Street job, the storm sewer job, we're still trying to work out an easement. So we can get that one moving along. Just a quick note in my notes from Troy. West Street reconstruction from Wilmington Road to Corning. We submitted an application for future federal funding, and they're working on phase 1 environmental study through IDOT. And we're getting ready for the summer programs in my department. You'll all notice a bigger and better chip box this year moving forward. So we can maybe do the town in a day without dumping. So you'll see that around coming soon. So
Okay.
I want to thank Black Diamond for the steel. So
And when do you start for brush pickup? When is that?
April 5th, I believe, is the first Monday.
Coming up quick. Okay. Thank you. Moving on, I don't have any comments today. There's no old business. New business. Before we go into executive session, we can talk more about this job description. So right now, it used to be manager of streets and alleys. I mean, we're just changing it because now we don't have. Before we had a the sewer system, and so we had a streets and alley guy and we had a sewer guy, but now we're just changing it to manager of public works. We're not changing any of the, we're not adding any job descriptions. We're just crossing out a lot of stuff that had to do with the sewer department. If there's a problem with semantics, we want to change some words, we can do that. I think if we're talking about promoting somebody or adding salary, I think that probably should be done in a closed session, right? We want to talk about that?
Yes,
Yeah.
if you're
So,
promoting anyone.
yeah, so, what's your guys' pleasure on this job? Let's talk about the job description.
I think just changing the words as of right now, just to make it so the words fit the manager of public works right now, and then maybe when we go in to discuss the possibility of a new title or whatnot, then we can change it from there, like a different supervisor thing.
All right, so what I'm hearing is wherever it says supervisor, we're gonna change it to say managing, managerial responsibilities or directly manages public works employees. Is that,
I guess my only thing is that by changing it to manager, you're not changing the duties of it. You're just changing the name of it. I mean, for years it was considered a supervisor responsibility, and by taking it to manager, you're just kind of making it acceptable for to do it. It still doesn't relieve to my thing, it still doesn't relieve the thing of not having a supervisor. I mean, most people, when they ask, like, who's the supervisor, you know, I want to talk to supervisor, who are they going to send? I mean, most places, you go to a place, I want to talk to the manager, you don't get done with manager, and then you go to supervisor. I mean, around 20 miles around, everybody has supervisors. We're the only one that doesn't. I just think it's fair that, you know, we're talking about updating downtown and everything else, getting everything up, and why not do the same here? I mean, he's been here 22 years, been doing it for that long, why not give him a supervisor? I mean, it's not just about the money, it's more about the title. I mean, title is a lot to people. To me, it's a lot. I mean, when I got my new job, they gave me a title, and it means a lot, and my next move up is a different title. So, I mean, that's just where I'm
Manager,
at.
you could put supervisor, but nothing else would change then.
Right. I think for just to get this, so it's cleared, is just get this passed, and then we can talk about the supervisor potential change. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Just change the name so we can get it passed, but then discuss it in the future. Yeah.
okay, is there a motion to do that?
I'll motion it.
So we're gonna approve the new job description with changing some of the wording from supervisor to managing. Excellent. Is there a second?
Second?
Okay. Moved by trustee Marevka, second by trustee Sturba.
Roll call vote, trustee Marevka,
Yes.
trustee Sturba,
Yes.
trustee Sluse,
One question, are we changing it from manager to supervisor or
No.
supervisor to?
Everything will stay the same.
So the
except
title
for-
itself says manager, but
Mhm.
there's references to the task of supervising in the body.
Supervisory, yeah.
So that's what I'm assuming you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
So we're changing the supervisor wording to manager.
So the title is still gonna be
Manager.
Manager.
Correct.
And if it says supervisor anywhere in there, we're changing it to manager.
Right.
Until
Okay.
further discussion.
Okay.
Yes.
yes, okay. All right, trustee Jones,
Yes.
trustee Hudson.
Yes.
All right, I need a motion to go into executive session. We're gonna be discussing the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on complaint lodged against an employee of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. We're also going to be discussing pending, imminent, or probable litigation, and also acquisition of real property.
Motion.
Second.
Moved by trustee Sluse, seconded by trustee Marevka.
Okay, roll call vote, trustee Sluse.
Yes.
Trustee Marevka.
Yes.
Trustee Sturba,
Yes.
trustee Jones.
Yes.
And trustee Hudson.
Yes.
All right,
6:18.
okay, and there will be no action after the executive session.